Hello, you're watching TVP World News. I'm Jonasz Rawiński. Donald Trump confirmed that Ukraine will continue to receive weapons from the United States to fight Russia, with most of the weapons in question being defensive in nature. His comments come after Ukraine requested more Patriot systems and missiles to defend itself from an increasing number of Russian airstrikes. Though Trump did not mention Patriots specifically, he did say last week that Kyiv would need them to effectively defend itself.
On Ukraine, Mr. President, are you planning to send more weapons to Ukraine?
We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves. They're getting hit very hard now. They're getting hit very hard. We're going to have to send more weapons. Yeah, defensive weapons primarily, but they're getting hit very, very hard. It's very sad. So many people are dying in that mess.
During his evening address on Monday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said all things related to air defense are now a top priority. The Ukrainian leader also added that talks with the US regarding Patriot systems and missiles are underway.
We must significantly increase the use of all types of drones that assist on the front lines, both to repel Russian assaults and to support our active operations. Drones and technological solutions are crucial here, and there will be more. I am grateful to everyone working in this area on necessary technologies. We are continuing our efforts to counter airstrikes as well. Everything concerning air defense, systems, missiles and drone-based solutions is now our top priority. We're also preparing new agreements with partners and expect to formalize them in the coming weeks.
According to White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt, the pause in weapons supplies is caused by a standard Pentagon review. Now, last week, the United States confirmed that deliveries to Ukraine, including Patriot air defense missiles, have been suspended. White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt made the comments on the suspended arms deliveries during a press briefing on Monday, adding that the review was requested by Pete Hegseth when he became the Secretary of Defense. No official notification had been sent regarding the pause last week. The Ukrainian side sought clarity on the matter, according to its defense ministry. US President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky discussed further US aid during a phone call on Friday. Kyiv relies on Patriot systems to take down incoming Russian ballistic missiles, making the pause in their deliveries particularly acute in the face of increased Russian strikes. While in Washington, D.C., Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he had nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. The US president said he was not expecting the gesture and added it is very meaningful, particularly because it is coming from Netanyahu.
The president has already realized great opportunities. He forged the Abraham Accords. He's forging peace as we speak in one country and one region after the other. So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well-deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much, baby.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
According to French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot, Europe is preparing to impose the toughest sanctions yet on Russia. The French official said the additional measures will target financial players in Russia and those abroad who allow the country to evade the current sanctions regime.
Following French proposals, Europe is preparing to impose the toughest sanctions we have seen in 3 years, which will drain the resources that allow Vladimir Putin to continue his war. Well, if we can call it that, since Vladimir Putin is no longer making any progress on the front line and is now content to rain missiles and drones down on residential areas, causing huge numbers of civilian casualties. All this has to stop, and by imposing sanctions that target not only oil revenues, but also Russian financial players or financial players in other countries that allow Russia to evade our sanctions, we intend to make him comply.
Now, today is the first state trial of a man who shot Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico in May of last year. The suspect is accused of terrorism and faces a life sentence. The attack took place following a special government session in Handlowa on the 15th of May 2024. After Fico left the meeting, he greeted a crowd of supporters in front of the building when shots were fired. 4 bullets hit the Slovakian Prime Minister, who was then promptly transported to the nearest hospital. The shooter was identified as Juraj C., the last name withheld for reasons of privacy, a 72-year-old writer. He was apprehended on the spot and quickly confessed to the shooting, while also admitting that he didn't act alone. The shooter said that his actions were motivated by his opposition to the Fico government's decisions. Although at first the Slovakian Attorney General accused the shooter of attempted premeditated murder, the charges were quickly changed to terrorism. Overnight, the number of casualties of the floods in Texas surpassed 100, as the National Weather Service continues to issue flood warnings for several counties in the U.S. state. Among the sites hit the worst by the disaster is an all-girls summer camp sitting along the Guadalupe River, where 27 people died and 11 more are still unaccounted for. Over 20 state agencies are responding to flooding across Texas as rescuers continue to search for dozens of missing people. Assets deployed for search and rescue operations include rescue boat teams from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, as well as Black Hawk helicopters of the local National Guard. While the storms in central Texas are expected to wind down in the coming days, some locations can still expect heavy rain. The National Weather Service issued flood warnings for Kerr County, as well as communities of Ingram, Kerrville, and Center Point. We worked all night. We work today as well. The situation is mostly stable, said a firefighter from Bosnia, as a fire broke out in a village near Trebinje and spread around the region. Helicopters arrived to help the local fire brigades and prevent the further spread of the wildfire.
The situation is currently favorable as far as the fires are concerned. All objects that were threatened by the fire were saved. There was a fire in one building, and now there's no danger to buildings and property. We worked all night. We worked today as well. Mostly, the situation is stable, and there's no wind, and I expect that what we put out will remain stable.
Adverse weather caused major disruptions at Budapest airport on Monday, leaving travelers stranded as flights were delayed or cancelled. A powerful storm swept through the area, forcing a temporary shutdown after debris were blown onto the runways.
A very fierce storm reached the capital and hit right here, right next to the airport. So the Liszt-Ferenc airport was affected by this very intense weather. The wind blew debris onto the runway and we temporarily had to suspend operations at the airport.
It's a big problem because we have several flights because we are part of the Mexican team of triathlon and we were here for the World Cup of triathlon this weekend, and the next week we have another World Series championship in Hamburgo, so we have to move right now.
There was a really big storm, so it's really difficult the situation. There's lots of people that we are here waiting without knowing what's going to happen, but I think it's getting better and I hope we can finally go to Spain.
The Polish government has launched a new initiative aimed at supporting Polish companies seeking to expand their operations in Ukraine. The Team Poland program is supposed to play a key role in Ukraine's post-war reconstruction and will offer Polish enterprises loans and insurance against war-related risks. According to the Polish Finance Minister Andrzej Domański, the program is a new model of cooperation between government administration and Polish businesses. During a press conference, Domański also said he will speak with Ukrainian authorities about emphasizing that Polish companies must play a meaningful role in Ukraine's post-war reconstruction. The Polish minister went on to add that the program might eventually expand beyond Ukraine and cover the Balkans and Asia. So far, about 2,600 Polish companies are operating in Ukraine, making Poland the 9th largest investor in the country. Polish businesses were quite active in Ukraine, and we are the 10th largest investors in terms of capital expenditure or capex investment in Ukraine, said Piotr Matczuk, CEO of the Polish Development Fund, when speaking with TVP World about Poland's business opportunities in Ukraine.
For the last 30 years, Polish businesses were mostly focused on accumulating capital. Now it's probably the time that they can be more active and more eager to go abroad. And Ukraine is only one market they can test with the help of a Polish development system. Historically, Polish businesses were quite active in Ukraine. And I think we are right now the 10th largest investor in terms of capex investments in Ukraine, with almost $800 million of investments accumulated. So what we want to do, because now there is an increased international activity around Ukraine, what we want to do, we just want to have the Polish entrepreneur feeling in the same way as they colleagues from abroad feel.
How do colleagues from abroad?
Poland moved to reinstate 52 checkpoints on its border with Germany. According to Polish Minister of the Interior, the decision is driven by the need to avert security threats stemming from illegal migrants being returned from the West. The border communities have divergent views, however, while German officials emphasized the need to ensure these border tensions do not have adverse effects on the Polish-German relationship. Our reporter Zuzanna Jurek has more.
On Sunday at midnight, Poland moved to reinstate its border checkpoints on its border with Germany. The move is being justified as seeking to bolster the integrity as well as security of the Polish territories. Speaking shortly after the border checkpoints have been reinstated, the Minister of the Interior, Tomasz Siemionek, had the following to say.
The purpose of these border controls is to combat illegal immigration, to combat the crime of human smuggling. They are not directed against Polish citizens or citizens of European Union countries. We will try to conduct these controls and to ensure safety at the same time, not making life difficult for people, especially those who cross this border very often.
Now, although the move is being justified on the security grounds, it has been received with certain skepticism, particularly when it comes to the border-dwelling population. They have emphasized that although to some extent it is a necessary move when it comes to Poland's security and the influx of migrants that they've observed over the last couple of months, at the same time it may not be the best use of resources, as well as the fact that the threat is primarily coming from the east, where Russia wages its war of aggression and its hybrid warfare against the region.
We don't know who those people are. They pretend to behave, but you can see what's really going on. So after all, we bear some consequences. We cannot allow ourselves to be scared in our own country. I think it would be good if the borders remained open, because after all, we're a united Europe. However, when the issue is safety, then it's worth it. In my opinion, the safety of citizens should take priority over openness, and once the situation comes down, we can go back to what it was like before.
Now, although the move has been criticized, it isn't unprecedented in itself. Germany has also moved to reinstate its border controls with Poland as early as October 2023 under the center-right government of Friedrich Merz. Speaking about this issue, the German President Frank Steinmeier has emphasized, however, that he hopes that Poland's decision will not have any adverse effect on the long-term relationship between the two countries.
We are negotiating with Poland on how this situation can be resolved. I hope that this will not lead to a long-lasting dispute between Poland and Germany.
For now, the border checks are expected to be in place for at least 30 days. The Polish government, however, is already floating the idea of a possible extension. From Zgorzelec, for TVP World, Zuzanna Jurek.
Polish tennis superstar Iga Świątek is off to the Wimbledon quarter-final following an impressive 6-4, 6-1 victory over Danish 23rd seed Clara Tauson on Monday. Despite a worrying number of double faults on Świątek's side, she managed to secure her win in a little over an hour. The beginning was pretty shaky with the double faults, but I managed to play solid. I'm not sure if Clara was feeling that well. She said that she didn't sleep well, and I hope she has a good recovery, Świątek told the crowd after the match. Iga will face Russia's Lyudmila Samsonova on Wednesday to battle it out for a place in the tournament's semi-finals. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching. Please stay with us here on TVP World.